Parallel and perpendicular slopes. So, if we were to graph all these lines, this has a y-intercept of 4, and the slope is negative 2 over 3. So negative 2/3 goes down to right 3. If you're forgetting how to graph linear equations, go back to slope-intercept form, using slope-intercept form. For the second one, we have plus 9, and that's our y-intercept, and our slope is negative 2/3 down to right 3, down to right 3, down to right 3. For the third one, our y-intercept is negative 5, and we're going down to right 3, down to right 3, because these all happen to have the same slope. What do you notice about these lines? There's something in common between these. The physical lines, not just when we look at the equations. But what you should see is because they all have the same slope, they're all going in the same direction. If they're going in the exact same direction, what we call that, the word that we use for that is parallel lines. These are parallel lines. And what that means is that they have the same slope, different y-intercepts, and they are parallel. Parallel lines are lines in the same plane that never intersect. So what we're saying is no matter how far you continue these lines, they will never meet because they're traveling at in the exact same direction. Not toward the same point, in the same direction. So, which of these lines are parallel? It's tempting to say that there are 3 parallel lines here, but this is false. Not all of the lines are parallel. So, it should be pretty obvious that the green line is different. It has a slope of down 6 and right 4. So the green line has a slope of negative 6 over 4, which is simplified to negative 3/2. This red line goes right 9 and up 2. So its slope is 2/9. The blue line goes right and up. It's going up 2, but it's only going right 8. So this slope is 2/8, which simplifies to 1/4. That's not the same thing as the red line. So even though it looks like they're parallel, they're not. These will meet somewhere off in the distance. Specifically, this one is growing slightly faster than this one is, so they'll meet very far up and to the right. Let's look at the last one. This is going right 9 and up 2. So 2/9 is the slope. These two are the parallel lines. This line is parallel to that. The blue and the green lines are not parallel to either of them because they have different slopes. Just because it's obvious that the green line is parallel, you could not include it. But the blue one, you have to double check based on the slope. Perpendicular lines meet at right angles. So what you see here is these are 2 perpendicular lines. They meet at right angles, meaning this angle, this angle, this angle, and this angle are all the same. If 2 lines have negative reciprocal slopes, then they are perpendicular. So what that looks like is this slope was going right 8 and up 2, a slope of 2/8 or 1/4. This line was going down 8 and right 2, a slope of 2 over negative 8, or negative 8 over 2, rise over run, which is negative 4. Those are negative reciprocal slopes. So they must be perpendicular, meet at a right angle. So what I mean by this is that we take the number, a negative reciprocal is that you flip it and make it negative. So flipping 2 becomes 1/2, and to make it negative, negative 1/2. To flip 1/3, well, it's 3 over 1, or 3, and it becomes negative 3. 3/7, we flip it to get 7/3, and we make it negative. 18, we flip it to make 1/18. It was negative, so now it's positive. 6/5, we flip that to get 5/6, and that was positive, so now it's negative. Negative 4/11 flips to be 11/4, but since it was negative, now it's positive. 9.5 is the same thing as 95/10, which is also the same thing as 19/2. So we can flip that to make it negative 2/19. That's our perpendicular slope. And 1 is the same thing as 1/1, which when we flip it becomes negative 1/1 or 1. So these are perpendicular slopes. So when we want to look for perpendicular lines, what we do is we find the slopes. Here our slope is 3. Here our slope is negative 1/3. Here our slope is negative 3. Here our slope is 1/4. Here our slope is negative 3. And here our slope is negative 1/3. So they're perpendicular if they have negative reciprocal slopes. Which ones have negative reciprocal slopes? Oh, this should say m equals. So negative 3's perpendicular slope would be positive 1/3. There are no positive 1/3, so that doesn't have any perpendicular slopes. These two are parallel, but they don't have any perpendicular lines listed here. These two are also parallel. And they are perpendicular to this one. So these two are perpendicular, and these two are perpendicular, because 3 and negative 1/3 are negative reciprocals. 1/4 doesn't match with any of them. So, overview, the parallel lines have the same slope going in the same direction and different y-intercepts. Perpendicular lines have negative reciprocal slopes. Coinciding lines, that's the same line. You see it's just bolded to represent it's the same line twice. Same slope, same y-intercept, same line. Coinciding. And intersecting lines are two random lines. It's very tempting to say that these are perpendicular, but perpendicular means a very specific thing. These are random intersecting lines. Thank you.